Hey there, folks. Tuesday, September 30th, end of the month, 2025. We're in the reset. And we lost $6 today, but that's okay. Remember, trading is risky business. Do not risk your own money without consulting a financial professional before making any investment decisions, especially in the stock market, the way we are right now. So I want to provide a quick market update. Like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the comments. Appreciate them. So on Friday, we're looking at the SPY at 661. And as we look at it now, it closed at 666, the magical number. This was a little bit earlier. It's 1:07 p.m. on the West Coast right now, but it has since moved up. NVDA, we also looked at NVDA. We were down at 177, and the thought here was that it might fall. But however, this morning it picked itself back up again on the news, and it's at 185.60. So big news today. So NVIDIA's moving up. And here's a chart that we have for NVIDIA. And I didn't have it hitting 184 until mid-October, early November. And lo and behold, the news that Meta is going to go all in on buying AI supplies or services certainly send the NVIDIA partners, smaller partner vendors, higher. And since we all know NVIDIA is the one that's going to supply the chips and the data centers, well, then it's kicking up. Financial institution also upgraded their price, their stock price, well over 200. And I still think that here what we're doing is we got to rethink 186 possible by end of October, and 190 maybe after earnings. And this morning we're looking at it. It's about 7:30 Pacific, and I recorded it just because I wanted to see this happen, and it's nice to see. If you didn't buy the dip, well, hold on to your horses. At the next dip would probably be a good thing to buy. I haven't looked at the options yet. I said I was going to do it, but I expect 220 by April of next year. So that's my prediction. So things are moving. And just as I thought, the markets, we're going to get tired of not being able to invest. And even with some bad news today, the market didn't face. It was slow in the morning for small caps, certainly, but the large caps and mid caps were hanging on. And certainly for NVIDIA, which happens to drive the market, and for the SPY, things changed. So here I'm trying to put together a little axis as to what I see happening. So 186 possible in the next week or so. Well, we'll have to wait and see. But certainly NVIDIA has reset itself up in a new channel. So, and there's no stopping it. So if you got a NVIDIA stock, go for it. So that's our market update. The other thing I wanted to do was shout out to John Smith and Boat Doctor out there for leaving me some great comments and advice. It helps out to have folks who watch the videos and take the time to make those comments. It really helps give you a little bit more of a lift when bad days like yesterday happen. Though I'm not sad about yesterday. Don't get it twisted. Everything's a learning process. And I'm not the type of person that gets depressed. I'm sorry if folks out there have issues. I've never known depression. I don't know what it is. I'd like to understand it one day. Anyway, opportunities. One of the things is obviously all us YouTube folks on YouTube that are day trade and share our stuff on YouTube. We want to share with you guys the good and the bad. But on days like yesterday, and on recap specifically, we're very specific in only what we trade, and that gives, I think, the market a bad name, because there are folks out there making money. There are folks who are getting in there, who have the timing, and they're making money and they're doing well. And so what I want to share with you here is just three stocks. Well, actually four, but I only have video on three of them. So this morning, CRE was moving up. There were a couple of others early at 4 a.m. Eastern that moved up. CYBT is one here. Now, obviously, at 3:39, you're not going to go in and make money. But if you happen to time this correctly, when the scanner is just flashing, and you go in around 279, 280, even 290 or $3, you make a nice profit there. Then ZURA, a continuation from yesterday, was it, or Friday? Again, you go in at 379, 389, you write it up till 450, even 425, and you make good money. So the folks that did that, who caught this in time, and shout out to Boat Doctor, he tells me that on my trade on MSS, I got in way too late, and that is absolutely true. I couldn't get in fast enough. So maybe I need to look at the Thinkorswim scanners. They're not giving me the information soon enough for me to get in. Plus, I also have internet lag issues, even though we're on a gig cable connection. I've always had issues. Next is BINI, and be careful. BINI is a pump and dump stock. You don't want to be trading that. But if you had gotten in there, around 270, and you see it, there's 40, 50 cents to be made there as well. And then you get out quickly, 1, 2, and you get out. So what I'm learning over yesterday and the retraining to today is that I need to go in and scalp more and not rely on 3 to 5 minute holds. So that's what the stock market is leading. That's where I need to be. As of from January to March of this year, that's exactly what happened. That's why I lost $300, $400 a month, because I wasn't getting out fast enough and I wasn't getting the opportunities. So I need to take a look, maybe take my show on the road and trade a location that has more direct access to the internet backbone, because I think that's part of my problem. Sometimes Zendo is great, but it's 5 seconds behind. And sometimes Zendo is 3 to 4 seconds ahead of me. I'll watch Zendo and the stock will be up at 69 cents at something 69, and on my chart is still at 30 cents. And by the time I would get in, Zendo shows it going back down. So and it varies from day to day. So that may be part of the problem. I also recognize that it's my issue. I'm watching one stock while another one pops up in the scanner. If I don't jump on it quick enough, I'm not going to get it in. So it is timing. Much as in life, everything is about place and time. So let's get into the trades. So we started out, we were up $6 before the dreadful IBG, which I didn't want to trade, but I did. And that cost us a loss, but we'll look at it. Anyway, we took 19 trades. 11 of them were successful for a 60% rate, but our losing average was twice as much as our winning average. And the trades that really made a difference are there, the last ones. 20 loss on IBG, 16 win, and then a 7 loss. So all the rest were practice. They were small, like right here on DPro. And I'm not going to tell you whether I lost or I won. I lost $6, so I just have a lot of these little tiny trades. I'm only going to share small highlights. And for the reason that you'll see here, that I get in 1 or 2 bars and then I get out. Because this is exactly what happens. 1 or 2 bars, the stock hovers, and then it dumps. EPOW was also moving. Now, I'm sure folks made money. Somebody had to be in at 140, 147, and take it off at 153. By the time I jumped onto it, it was way too late. Even though we wound up making 6 cents on this trade. But there again, it's at the high. I went in too late. I'm not necessarily on the backside, but the backside now could be 2 bars before it crumbles down. And this is what happens a few seconds later. So if you're holding and you're thinking, oh, I'm going to reclaim, I'm going to get, or it's going to climb higher, not going to happen. This is what's happening. So today was just about getting the confidence back to jump in, to try to identify the timing. SPRC comes on. And on this one, we lost a little bit. Once again, there's a nice green bar, 2 reds, starts reclaiming, and we know what's going to happen, but I jumped in anyway. And if you don't get out quick enough, it goes down. Now you notice I had a red line there around 650. And that to me was, there was too much resistance there. And I know it had to come down. But we're hunting for trades. We're looking for trades instead of patiently waiting. And it's the same common theme. The reason we lose is because we're not patient and we don't wait. Today, we waited until the market opened to even begin taking a look at trades. So that was a good step. Tomorrow, I suspect that things will be popping a little bit more in the morning. So we go back to DPRO. And there again, that green bar, series of red bars, couple of 2 or 3 green bars, and it reclaims. And our timing is just not there. We're late to the party. So a good entry would have been around 850. And we didn't have the assurance to go in at 850, so we wait. But the problem is these stocks are not moving 30 or 40 cents beyond what we would consider a sure entry. So we're not being able to catch the high momentum of where you would buy high and then sell higher. I think that explains it. And I think that's the strategy I've been using, though I haven't been talking about it. And that's the reason why I go in higher. So now we need to change. There, as you can see, it's falling down. I got to take a look at the indicator, why it's painting that downward candle bar there green when it should be red. We got to remove that. Yes, and I got a new indicator in there. These are all EMAs from 7 to 13, 37 as well. So SPRC again starts climbing up, and we're going to take a look. And remember, it's already past the red line now. So had we waited, had we stayed on that stock, had we looked at it, 620 between 621 and 631, even at 640, we could have taken a trade and sold up there at 661, 662, and we would have made money. But instead, we're jumping in at 661. So I think that's very clear where the problem is. And this is consistent. And this is what happens. 1 or 2 green bars and then dump. So you can't wait. You can't expect stocks to go even higher. We just have a few more here. BQ was a little higher priced. And this one looked like it had a couple of nice bars. And here we jumped in, but only with 3 shares, just to see if it had what it takes to go up higher to 11. It doesn't do it on this at this time. later on it does move, and it was moving on very slow volume, and it was creeping, but it was doing exactly the same thing that the other stocks are doing. Creeps up, nice green bars, and then it dumps. So the bears are pretty much in charge, and the stocks are being pushed down. They don't have enough liquidity, so we have to look forward to better days and excuse me, more traders coming in. And I think that if we had more volume, then these stocks would definitely move. So we have to be careful. But our loss was not great. With 3 stocks, we didn't jump in with a whole lot. Click was another one that was showing up in scanners as well. And this is a good view of that indicator of what it looks and how it twists. And right here, the twist shows that it is coming up, and all the indicators, the MACDs, are showing that it is climbing up. So we felt a little bit more confident about jumping in with 200 shares on this one. Obviously, less than 50 cents, it's a penny stock. And unless you take volume size, nothing's going to happen. So had we taken 1,000 shares or 2,000 shares, things would have been, a little different. We'd have made $6 to $8, $10. But there, we just needed to make a quick hit. And that's why I wanted to show some of those trades where I start getting better. And there you see, click starts falling. And then IBG. And I kept looking at this stock all the while from all the morning, and I said, I'm not going to trade it. I'm not going to trade it. Because I think this is one of the stocks that I lost big on Friday. I don't remember when, but now we're in here at a better, this was more opportune because we got in there and the MACDs are just moving up. The indicators are sort of twisting and the EMAs are moving up. Now, all we have to do is hold for a little bit of volume. But we're in with only 10 shares. You're not going to make a whole lot of money with 10 shares. But that wasn't the point today. Today wasn't about reclaiming yesterday or reclaiming the month of September. Today was about a reset, going back to the well and saying, let's change the rope, let's shine up the bucket, let's clean the handle before we drop it down the well and bring the water up so that we can do it. Let's figure out a way to change the pulley so that when we pull the water up, it's not so heavy. That's what it was about today. It was about not lifting a whole lot of pounds, but being repetitive and lifting a small amount of weight. And then learning quickly to get out of those trades, especially when they're not moving or when we see a lot of resistance. So in here, we were a little early, and we were hoping that it would kick up, but it wasn't meant to be. It still needed a little bit more time. And those 3 long red bars on the left should have been our guide to let us know that the time was probably another 10, 15 minutes away from climbing. And we'll touch on this later because right now is 7:25 Pacific in the morning when we were in this trade. Yeah, that clock doesn't look that well. We're gonna have to spruce that up so that it looks better. And at this point, everything was starting to die down. And I thought, well, you know what? IBG might do a little better. but we're only in with 10 shares again. Anything we could make is going to be very small. And we continue to hold when we should have sold. We thought it might make it up there to 470. But it's consolidating and needs more time. And now the MACDs are pointing down. So it's getting close for us. Now we're lucky here that it isn't flushing, because that's something that we were seeing. So we make 19 cents on this, and that's about all she wrote. So remember, we're at 467 around 727. So we'll get back to this. So this wasn't doing much, and then I started looking at. That's what I wanted to show you. That's exactly that flush. We got out just in time. The ZORZ, Coors, higher price stock, but it was moving. And we opted to, you know what, let's look at it. Let's jump in with a few shares. It looks very bullish. Let's see if it has a run, if it can have a run up to 2021. And it had moved up quite a bit. I think it moved up from 15. Of course, this is probably way higher float. We jump in. Oh, I thought I had only jumped in with 3. It was 10 shares. Wow. Yeah, well, with 3 shares, you wouldn't make much. Neither with 10. Not if it's moving up. So here we're trying to get in the middle of the move for a push higher. But the problem was there were more people on the asks than they were on the bids. There's a little new indicator there. It's called the Shande Momentum Oscillator, telling us that it's bullish but trending down. I think that helped a little bit. But I'm blocking it there with the ticker. I'm going to have to figure that out. So we get out, and then we go to IBG. Now remember, we were around 467 at 727. It is now 817. So we got half an hour, almost 45 minutes later. And there was a move up there from 467. You just had to hold it. We didn't watch it. It fell back down, and then it starts climbing back up again from 469. And we get in high because this is when we saw it. And like I said, I'm not particular to buy IBG. I didn't like it. I didn't want to touch it at all. And the fact that I lost the 20 bucks on this first trade tells me why I don't like it. However, if you're going to trade, the stock symbol, its behavior should not matter. We need to do better. If you're going to be successful, you need to learn how to trade these stocks, no matter how they move, how volatile they are. And because if you don't, you're not going to survive. And that's the reason we went in. Have no fear. And after Friday and after Monday's loss, we spent some time looking at indicators. That's where we made the change. We spent time looking at our trades, seeing what we did, etc., going over them just to try to understand. And I think, like both doctor wrote on our comments, our timing is completely off. We jump in a stock, and if the stock has already moved, we're behind it. The 8 ball. We need to jump on it as soon as it hits the scanner if we are hoping to ride that momentum. And here I think it was stubbornness. It's obvious that the stock is moving down. Bullish but trending down, says our indicator. Our Sunday momentum oscillator indicator. A long friggin' name. Now what we're seeing there is a pattern. Big green bar, red, small green, little red, indecisive, another red indecisive, big green, more green, red, more green. And what we were hoping for is that we didn't get this flush, that we get another green. So here we are. It is now 8:26, 10 minutes later. And again, we missed it. In between here, we were looking at other stocks. We weren't looking at this. And I wasn't looking at it to recover. But I said, okay. So I look at it, and it looks like it's finally going to go above $5 and say, okay, well, you know what? Let's try to get some money back and try to recover. Pulse halt here. And we try to wait for the absolute top or as high as it will go before we get out. And we didn't totally recover everything, but we recovered mostly everything. So a $20 loss turned into a $4.33 loss. Now we should have been happy with that. Because we know what's coming, right? The dump is coming. But here we were in the excitement that perhaps we could recover and maybe come out slightly green. Doesn't happen in this last trade. We lose 7 on this last trade, which so right now we're about broke even, but we lose 7 on this last trade, and that puts us $6, $7 under. Anyway, that's the recap for today. I hope you guys made some money. I hope you guys had better days and a better September. Let's look forward to October, and we'll see what happens starting tomorrow. We'll look for NVDA and the SPY to go higher. Everybody, have a wonderful day.